So the Wildlife Restoration Act was a very progressive act in the 1930s that redirected an excise tax from firearms and ammunition companies towards conservation at an 11% rate. And that money by law has to be spent on the conservation of wild birds and mammals in their habitat.
I think partner with the payer and the opportunity to experience these tours of manufacturing plants are so important to both state and federal agencies because we are ultimately a partnership. These manufacturers are critical, and it's an opportunity for all of us to learn about each other and to learn what contribution they make to this partnership.
I mean, I knew about what the excise dollars went to and how it distributes down, but actually hearing the day-to-days of what these people were doing, blew my mind.
But it's also about things like conservation, knowing that downstream that these firearms that we're selling are doing more good work for this wonderful country.
It's almost sort of theoretical. It's this thing that exists, but when you come here, and you're hosted by a manufacturer, and you see the people out on the manufacturing facility, or the marketing folks, or the leaders of the organization, and you see they have the same passion and commitment to what they do here as the state and federal employees. And then it really becomes not a distant theoretical thing. It's the thing that links them together as partners.
Well, the one thing I would tell manufacturers is you ought to be involved, at least in knowing where your money is going. The money that you're spending in the federal excise tax system for the Pittman-Robertson Fund is extremely important and is doing great work. It's doing extraordinary things, and you ought to know about that because you're part of it. And again, it's a source of pride. It's something you can really point to and say, I'm making a difference here.
I think it's really important for state and federal employees and the partners that we work with to share their stories and learn a little bit more about how we each do what it is we do.
This partner with a payer is a way to put all of those together where everybody understands what's going on.
Here in Missouri, we had our first elk season in modern times introduced last year. Our first black bear season introduced this year. These are stories now of new opportunities for our hunters and anglers that wouldn't be possible without these critically important funds.
Just me personally has been involved in literally millions of dollars of wildlife research that would not have been possible without these funds.
It's good for everybody. Whether you hunt or shoot or don't, it's still something that's important for the entire country, for the American way of life.
The partnership that state fish and wildlife agencies have with industry is critically important because it does provide the core funding for wildlife conservation. Most of the state fish and wildlife agencies depend on funding from excise taxes for the bulk of the wildlife conservation work that they do.
There's more game today than we've seen in centuries, and so to me, that's exciting for conservation.
Giving them the resources they need to do the job is incredibly important, not just to me, but to Smith & Wesson as a whole.
I would like every manufacturer to know that the funds they pay into those taxes have literally changed the nature of America. The species abundance, distribution, and the restoration of many species of birds and mammals, from birds and loons and ospreys and peregrine falcons to pronghorn antelope and turkeys, is not possible without them and the work they do. And they should take pride in that because we take pride in being a partner with them.